some years ago I went to Essex. I think it's the only time I've ever been to Essex. I was taken to a chapel out on the marshes, dedicated to St. Ked, a very sparse and spare little stone building. Ked is, no one's ever heard of him, but he was a saint who was responsible for swinging the British Church towards Roman Catholicism as distinct from Irish Catholicism. So he hasn't got to answer for. So this is called St. Ked Talks in His Sleep. The plague. How amiable are thy tabernacles, Lord of hosts. The current washes up signs for creatures of the sea like me to eat and rubs away the shore, exploding the skin of my face and the bone of the shore. I faint for the courts of the Lord. My elbows are wrinkled and cracked, the skin around my eyes as hungry as thieves in winter. Bird tracks scuttle on the quicksand of my chest. These signs erupt in the cave of my holy head. This is where I live, my delirium, deliberation. The sea recedes and reaches into the cracks and shallows of my face. Riptide pelts my bones with grit, they freeze in winter. This will be known as erosion. This will be known as the plague of silver foil. The merciless sun. This, my disappearance. My soul cries out, my fish oil candle. The focus tightens and fixes a future. A car in a square, an advertisement. No, it becomes a limousine, parked in the square of an ancient court. I see that the country is as poor as I am. The people collect in droves to have their photos taken. See themselves in a distorted mirror. Tanks will roll into that self-same square at night. Is this the way it will be, or the way it has always been? My fingers wrinkle and crack. The skin around my eyes is map of winter criminals. The starling pecks at the breadboard of my head. I will die of the plague in 664. I have walked, will walk to, have built, will build a cathedral and a tiny chapel out on the seawall, Bradwell, to bear the bulk of the Lord. This is my disfigurement, my display. The sun rubs into my flesh like fish oil. Backbone wrenched with sand erodes the cliffs, my face, the thigh bone of the land. What do the cormorants say? The sea is full of fish, and fish must feed on something. The sea is overflowing with the living and the dead. What do the stars say? Heaven is wide, enough for all the souls that have ever lived on earth. The starfish talks about sex. My body clings without a thought like fog. The sandfly tells me what I am and what I always was. A starving wind from Eden. This is my disappearance. This is my drug. God sends messages in bottles. When I read them, swallow. The word is a thing in itself, like a lichen, cormorant, fingernails, belly, riptide, eating into the coast of my brain and shaping it, fixing a future. I am an age of mirrors to come, where banks with windows, windows of shining gold, and satellites flapping between the planets like silver foil, will fornicate, breeding needs of sound. This is my delirium. This is my disappearance. The voice which I get from heaven spake unto me, said, Go and take the little book and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth as sweet as honey. Your hands push messages into bottles. His heart is an aerodrome at night, and you are coming into land. And then, his heart is a quiet dockland street. It is summer. Grass grows up through the cobbles. The houses are silent and full of folk. I have walked into English jungles, braved their teeth and spears. This is my delirium, dispensation. Science and art should make you afraid. The length of life is nothing. Living well is everything. Frozen bodies in the mind of God, and human germs in test tubes are unanswerable question marks. Live well and find your questions answered. God, your face is an airfield. Blinking, king illuminated. Your hands are paths of crossed white chalk. Your brain is a noisy sea. I feel the heathen drawing on the wall of the cave using my fingertips. Dimpled stone under sand and soot. This glyph of a tottering ox, her back stuck with arrows, she totters and rocks. I endure the dance of the hunter, the joy of the death dance. This is where I live. This cave is my eyeball. This wall, a nest in a niche, my soul. This carving, cut on my brain like a birthmark. It's a rather fine book. I mean in terms of production rather than in terms of quality. It's a series by Welsh University by John Goodman. And I don't know the number of series. I think it was 2 people here that put out in this series.
Tom Cheeseman.
Yeah. Tom. Read a couple of short pieces. This is a composite piece called from a National Museum, and it follows a visit to. In Cardiff, they have an exhibition, an art show each year called Artist Monday, where they invite artists from all over the world to contribute. It becomes quite a prestigious show. So it's called from a National Museum. Being a father is always anxiety. Wanting your son to be happy always is something you have to grow out of. yet wanting, of course, that he proudly walk in his personal shine. In leader Abdul's film, the Afghani boys queue up to sell the yellow bricks they've scavenged from ancient buildings, crumbling and bombed back into desert. It's a coin or two for bread and cigarettes, making an orderly line in the wind. I came here to look at paintings, but the desire to write this down overcame me. Coffee in the atrium, squealing kids all over the place, black dinosaur thighs like towers, stuffed badgers, dodo feathers, purple Sisley seascape. Kuei Xing, a Chinese associate god of writing, 15th century statuette, dances, his brush like a dagger whirling above him, his ink slab clutched to his belly, twisting in and out of the centuries mad-eyed, the dragon tail snap at the heart of life. A mother meets another mother, they kiss in the pleasure-fixed fluid moment. There must be something happening with my doing this, because it is just when I try to do something in the tide of, against the tide of, flexing, keeping afloat in the current of, out beyond the pool of this particular culture, my own lucky circumstance. In Abdoulaye Konate's massive fabrics, 3 black figures advance from the world, with syllables of cross and star and crescent, and a bundle of wood wrapped in cloth, like our children, carry these bruises into a future that won't be what we want for them. How can we confess this life? That we have too much desire, too much bruised love for life to cohere, which is why the artistic God is raving mad at heart. And I live in the Black Mountains of South Wales, and this is a sort of tribute to them, really. And there's a wood just up the hill from where I live. And I imagined Edward Thomas, having read his biography a couple of years ago, who died in, of course, the First World War, walking around. Or neo-romantic, blind and handbound. A grey cat gnawing threads of blue rubber mouse insides in sunshine on the grass. We need to tell at least both good and ill, or no compassion's possible. At Skirrid Inn they hanged 100 men at the foot of the stairs, but now the frog spawn's springing back and suns in the lanes. To be alive and pleasant with friends in the 21st century. To stride past Grundy's rundown farm at the turn of the Coombe. Feed bags, plastic tubing, turnips, dirty windows full of bags and tins. And somewhere there's an injured mother in there, I'm told. Birch branches, mud all over the lane. I followed a hare dead slow for half a mile, and then he took straight off from standing, 5 feet deep in a hedge. I imagine Edward Thomas's tobacco scroll reminds him of a caterpillar propping his stick by the gate 100 years ago. What? These ordinary things I see for you, he says. These words I say for you. Keeping my eye on the snow gullies dripping down in keenest light on Great Crugmar north, where south the lanes are filling up with birdsong. Old blue bards in a blackthorn bush. How brittle nature scoffs at all our futile clutches on this hillside acreage. He smiles at the sight of an orange-black bush fox who, startled, bounces away downhill from a ruined cottage. How come we all don't know the hunger for beauty all the time? The starving for beauty that rises inside, wide-eyed, at the light, at the thought of an image, a stupendous jewel. And towers of music, of thought, in a phrase, the massive truth seemed dazzling in its simple complex for the first time. This is what we work for some days, all that hard work. Then the moment pops like an astonished diamond fish. That ordinary longed for time, the endless piled upon my table, the shelves getting wider. It comes in the shape of music, the beautiful. Once in, you see how blinded we are to it all, scratching around for the grains of day-to-day, obsessed with ending as some mistake, instead of the edge that gives life shape and is crowned with the beauty of a jewelled music tower. The green road. The forestry's forgotten, no, forgetting. The forest lightless, heavy with snow, the path through the fence and into the forestry. You didn't go in, it was like a dream of inability to move. In summer, the voice of nature rubbing the leaves, the forgotten and the unforgotten. Recall past recalling. Then the lovers came out of the wood again. The lost green road into the heart of Coit Du. Thank you very much.